welcome to section 7.7 on Maryland. It's a southern colony. That is what we're going to look at today. So you need your packet. You need it opened up to page 6, and we're looking right at the top, Maryland. And we're looking, of course, why was it founded? What was the geography and climate like? What jobs were available? And the description of government. I think we're just going to do this one section today. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll press forward. I'm going to see how much time it takes. But for now, let's start with 7.7. And we're on page 73 in your book. Please follow along. Are you ready? Cecilius Calvert started the southern colony of Maryland in 1634 for 2 reasons. First, Calvert hoped to make money. Second, he wanted to provide a safe place for Catholics to practice their religion. Okay, so let's get this listed down. There were 2 reasons, right? So it was founded by Cecilius Calvert to make money and create a safe place for Catholics. So kind of about the same thing that a lot of these were about, having that religious freedom. Okay, next. In England and in some colonies, Catholics like Calvert were harshly treated by non-Catholics and the British government. Maryland's geography and climate were perfectly suited for growing and selling tobacco. Tobacco plants grew well in the hot, steamy summers. Chesapeake Bay split the colony in half and provided a route to the sea. Tobacco farmers near the bay could easily ship their crops to Britain and other places. Unfortunately, the climate also encouraged mosquitoes that spread disease like malaria. There were many job opportunities in Maryland. Most colonists there worked in small farms. They grew tobacco, corn, wheat, and fruit trees. Other colonists were involved in lumbering, shipping, fishing, and raising cattle for beef and milk. Some bought and sold slaves. Families grew tobacco on large plantations. Families who grew tobacco on large plantations became rich. However, most of the work on plantations was done by enslaved Africans. It says African slaves. They're talking about people. And indentured servants. Participation in Maryland's government was limited. At first, Calvert himself was in charge of Maryland's government. In 1638, Calvert permitted the colony to have an assembly. Generally, white men with property could vote for members of the assembly. As more non-Catholics moved to the colony, Calvert convinced the assembly to pass a law that protected Catholics' rights to vote and serve in the government. All right, so let's get back to our sheet. I kind of went away from it. I'm having a hard time going back and forth, being able to have the video show it. So that's why I kind of changed my mind here. All right, for the geography and climate, they mentioned Chesapeake Bay. They had good farmland. Easy access to the sea. And it was well suited for growing and selling tobacco. I'm sure there's more, but we've run out of room. All right, the available jobs. They gave us a big list. Small farming, lumbering, again, shipping, cattle, and slave trade. And again, chapter 8, we're going to talk a whole lot about that process. Okay, the description of their government. So at first, it was only Calvert who was in charge. Oops, F-I-R-S-T. At first, only Calvert. He was in charge of the government. Later, white male property owners could vote for assembly members. And that was it. Those are the only people who could vote. So later, white male property owners could vote for assembly members. And remember, those assembly members were the people who were making the decisions. Okay, now we're only at about 5.5 minutes, so we're just gonna wrap it up. Let's finish Georgia. So turn your page to page 74, Georgia. And we're still in the southern colonies. This is the second one and last one we're going to look at. The southern colony of Georgia was started in 1732 for two main reasons. First, the British government wanted to keep the Spanish from moving north. The Spanish were already in Florida to the south. Second, some wealthy Englishmen wanted to help poor people escape debtors' prison. Debtors are people who owe money or debts. At that time, debtors in England went to jail if they could not pay their bills. A colony in America could provide opportunities for poor people to support themselves. The climate and geography of Georgia were ideal for growing certain crops. Winters were mild, summers were hot and humid. The southern part of the colony had swampland, which is low, wet areas. Swampland was good for growing rice and indigo, a plant used to make blue dye of coloring. In the north, forests provided lumber for homes. After trees were cut down, the cleared fields were suitable for farming. Farming was the most important job in Georgia, but there were other occupations. Besides rice and indigo, farmers grew cotton and tobacco. Other colonists traded goods with Native Americans. Still, other were craftsmen such as shoemakers, bricklayers, blacksmiths, and potters. At first, the colony did not permit slavery, but later it was allowed and used widely. When Georgia began, only the rich men who had started the colony ran the government. They passed laws that they thought were best for the colony. In 1752, however, these men turned control of the colony over to the British king. The king allowed white men to elect an assembly. However, the king could stop any law the assembly passed. Veto. Okay, so let's get everything listed out here about Georgia. So why was it founded? Again, the main reason, there were two for this one. The first one was that they wanted to keep Spain from moving north. They were in Florida. To keep Spain from moving north. And they wanted to help English debtors avoid prison. So those were the two main reasons that it was founded. Okay, the geography and climate, it said it was very ideal for growing crops. Sorry, I was thinking swamps and crops at the same time. Ideal for growing crops. They had swampland. You knew that was coming next. Swampland in the south. Forests in the north. Mild winters. Hot, humid summers. Sorry, my battery is getting low. Hopefully that didn't come up there. Sorry, hot, humid summers. Okay, the available jobs, farming, of course, trade, crafts, like, okay, they gave examples of shoemaking, and bricklaying. And the last part of this, the description of the government. The description of the government. At first, only those who founded the colony could participate. So the ones who started it. At first, only those who founded the colony could participate. Later, white men could vote for assembly members. Still very different than it is today, right? Thank goodness. Could vote for assembly members. All right, you're all set for today. Thanks for watching.